It's the movement, the March for Our Lives from the kids from Parkland High School. There was a big rally here in New York City. The biggest one was in Washington, D.C.
You had 800,000 marchers across the country yesterday.
Right.
To all the politicians out there, if you take money from the NRA, you have chosen death.
The idea that if you don't support their agenda, you're a kid killer. I mean, there were signs attacking Senator Marco Rubio. Look at this poster, among others. It mocked his Catholic faith, called him a kid killer because he's taken money from the NRA, because he's supported the NRA.
Forgive me if I don't want a lesson on the Second Amendment from a 16-year-old. Forgive me if I don't want to watch a 9-year-old tell me that her dream is a world without guns. My world, I want a world without Islamists. They shouldn't be giving me lessons on the Second Amendment. They should be in civics class. They have a right to do whatever they want to do. But I watched that, and you know what my reaction was? Honestly, I donated to the NRA this morning.
BAFFLEGAB. 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 Definition. Incomprehensible or pretentious language, especially bureaucratic jargon.
Welcome to BAFFLEGAB. I'm Lenny Thompson, your liberal host.
Well, you may say liberal, but I say liberty. I'm freedom junkie Ralph Wigglesworth, your voice of reason on the right.
Yeah, I used voice of reason last time for the liberal side of the equation, but whatever.
I thought you were being sarcastic.
Nope. Being dead serious, just as these kids at the March for Our Lives were yesterday, when 80,000 of them descended on Washington, D.C. to say enough is enough, gun control now, gun control forever.
It was great. I think it's good for people to get out there.
It was
join
great.
Hands. Yeah.
You support these kids.
I support them getting out of the house and being active.
Okay.
I think childhood obesity is a real issue, and I think these kids getting out, walking around is a good thing for this country. What they were saying is not so good for this country. There was a lot of signs, as we just heard in that clip, that were picking on Marco Rubio.
Yes.
They're calling out his faith. They're making him feel bad. He's at home with his wife. No. He turns on the TV, and he's seeing a 16-year-old holding up a sign that says, "You killed children." How does that make Marco Rubio feel?
Little Marco, his feelings, they're hurt.
Little Marco is right. What if he has children in the room, Lenny?
Okay, I think little Marco can deal. Because these kids, they have a point. They are finally pressuring our politicians to address this problem of gun violence that has gone unexamined for so long in this country because of the powerful interests of the gun manufacturers and the gun lobby and their representatives in Washington, the NRA. Enough is enough, and these kids have the cojones to finally say, time is up.
I don't think we need any more of these hashtag campaigns, okay? It's time for us to stop talking in 180 characters and start having a real debate. So what do these kids want? They want to ban violence? I'm sorry, you're 16 and you think that we can just make violence illegal?
That's not what they want.
Well, guess what, kids? I'm sorry, but then say goodbye to Ren and Butthead. All your violence that you love on TV is all going to go away. When I was a kid, we watched Three Stooges, and we loved it. Today, Curly would be what, serving 5 to 10 for domestic violence?
Perhaps. He might have.
Domestic abuse, against his two friends who were just trying to paint a room when little chaos happened.
Yeah, you're trying to deflect from the main argument.
We're going to ban paint cans so that Mo can't take one in the face. I guess that's what these kids want. We're going to ban anything.
Yeah. It's not quite what I think the kids are saying, because what they're really saying is that we need sensible gun control laws, and moreover, we need to enforce the laws that are on the books, which are so easily skirted by things like the gun show loophole. Joe Sixpack can walk in, purchase an assault rifle, a weapon of mass destruction, from a whole array of unregistered salesmen. It's ridiculous.
Well, Lenny, first off, I want to thank you for acknowledging that the guys who do go to gun shows do generally have six-packs. These are big, tough guys who do work out very often. They're not as they're portrayed as, old, fat guys shooting guns.
Not my meaning, but okay.
Well, you also said in there, weapons of mass destruction.
Yes.
Okay, so then you think the government...
Mass murder, yeah.
Yeah, weapons of mass destruction. The government should have a preemptive attack, should go in there to every gun show.
No.
The same way we took down Saddam Hussein.
I'm not Donald Rumsfeld. No, I'm not advocating for that.
That's exactly what you just said. Weapons of mass destruction is something that we should take very seriously. You shouldn't just use those words,
yeah, sure.
Lenny, because this is why we have have a Second Amendment. Because when the government wants to come in and say, you got a weapon that's too serious, we don't trust you, the citizen, to have this weapon, we're going to come in and take it. That's why we need the Second Amendment.
For what? Originally, it was about the process of raising a militia against King George, were he ever to return. And now you're saying that what? What is the Second Amendment about, Ralph?
You know what the thing is?
It's a consumer right to purchase, unneeded, excessive assault rifles that were designed to kill things and serve a function far beyond normal hunting.
We still have it to protect us from King George Soros. Who's the one backing these protests like this? You don't think that he's paying celebrities to appear at these events to make it look like, there's a bigger deal.
What's next? Crisis actors? Are you gonna say what Bill said last time?
I don't.
Danny Hogg isn't a real guy. He's an actor. He loves the coop. He loves them, people.
Please listen to our previous episode, NRA Holes, to hear that interview.
Yes.
But that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the whole public is not behind this, right? The NRA has millions and millions, maybe even billions.
That's why you're
members.
freaking out. That's why you're freaking out, because you know that the Hollywood people and the Democrats, they've got our backs. They've got these kids' backs. Okay?
Excuse me.
Amy Schumer was there. Okay? Do you even know who Amy Schumer is? She's the most popular
Chuck's younger sister.
Comedian in America right now.
Yeah, I saw a part of her act. It's like, look at me, I'm a slut. I poured wine on my tits. I think I've seen.
Excuse me.
I've seen the act, Lenny.
I will not tolerate misogyny and mansplaining on this podcast. Sorry, ladies.
But
I apologize.
Excuse me if I don't want to be on the same side of an issue that Harvey Weinstein is on. That's your choice. If you want to be on the same side as Harvey Weinstein, say, I think he's got some good ideas.
Well, he's a big city liberal. I'm not sure he would be advocating for guns for hunting pheasant or anything, so that's not really surprising. Now, if you were to talk about something more fiscal or monetary related, I'm sure he might side with the right wing. But this is
we're getting off track. The whole point here is that what was going on at this march was disgusting. Some of the signs that I saw, that are calling Marco Rubio a child killer. There's one that said the NRA stood for nauseating redneck assholes.
Yeah. That's
what? When I saw that,
funny.
When I saw that, I immediately gave the NRA $5 more. I already pay my monthly dues of $30.
Yes.
And then I get the super PAC on Patreon where I have to pay an extra $60.
Well, joke's on you.
To get the gold membership, you got to pay an extra $12. And on top of that, I gave them this $5 because I said if Wayne LaPierre turns on CNN right now and sees that NRA stands for nauseating redneck assholes, it's going to tear him up inside. He's like, I'm not an asshole. I'm a good guy trying to defend the Constitution, that our forefathers wrote to protect us from all the King Georges of the world.
This was a wholesome family event. Kids, obviously, it was kid-led. It was led by the teenagers from Parkland, a school in Florida that recently experienced that horrific shooting. And it was fun for the whole family.
Well, excuse me, Lenny, if I don't think fun for the whole family means giving your 7-year-old a sign that say, all rednecks are fat and stupid and lazy, and they vote against their own interests, and all they love is God and guns.
That's a very long, busy protest sign, and I did not see that when I was at the events yesterday. I just saw families, people just who've had enough and are making their voice heard.
Well, look, we may not be able to know what all the signs said at that protest, but someone needs to do something. I think that's very clear here, right?
Somebody does.
Yes, I agree with you. And so in our last episode, we talked about should we arm all the students? That's where I'm at. That's my standpoint. I think arming the teachers is not enough.
Yes.
If we arm all the students and the teachers, we have a nice little
obviously
standoff.
The common sense solution.
Yes. We have a little Mexican standoff situation where everyone goes, oh, everyone has a gun. I'm not going to shoot anyone. Let's put our guns away. Let's get back to learning algebra. So a school in Pennsylvania has actually taken a step to a little compromise, right? So we can't give all the students guns, but we can give all the students rocks. As we both know, this country has a lot of failing infrastructure, right?
Yes.
And so there's a lot of rocks, a lot of abandoned warehouses in this country. Thanks, Obama. And Lenny, I know you don't believe everything that comes out of my mouth, so maybe you'll listen to a clip.
A Pennsylvania school district is arming teachers and students with rocks as a last resort for defense. Every classroom in Blue Mountain School District now has 5-gallon buckets of river stones stored for worst-case scenarios. So far, teachers and students have prepared and practiced with drills without throwing the rocks, of course. The superintendent says that under current laws, this is the best he can come up with until something changes.
If they hit somebody in the head, it could actually knock them out or even hit them in the temple and it could kill them.
I'm not sure anyone has one answer, but doing something is better than sitting and doing nothing.
The district hopes the rocks will also make intruders think twice.
This is ridiculous.
I agree. This is unbelievable. No one has thought about this till now. The number of school shootings that have occurred, and we finally are having an open debate, and we finally have gotten to a reasonable solution. And here's something, Lenny, you're...
Reasonable?
Yes. Lenny, you're a communist, so you'll appreciate the fact that we're using resources that are already around. You know, and I like...
Natural resources.
Yeah.
The commons.
Yes, we're using... Yes. And I like this because it's not costing any taxpayer dollars. I don't have to buy guns, right? I remember that was the whole thing. People were like, no, it'll cost billions of dollars to train all the teachers to use firearms. Great. Well, now we got 5-gallon buckets of a bunch of river rocks we're giving to our kids. I think
it's very cost effective. I will give it that. It's also a bit depressing, I would say. It's very depressing, too.
Well, I'm sorry, Lenny, that we live in a depressing world. But, okay, there's a lot of benefits to this idea that this principal came up with, right?
Okay,
it's not a big government solution like you're looking for. But, look, it's not costing taxpayers any dollars, right? That's immediately right off the bat. That's great.
Except for paying people to take the rocks from the riverbed to the school and buy buckets
We
well.
make the students do it. We already control the students. We'll make the students do it.
Students are janitors. Students are river rock collectors. It's a very efficient school.
Yeah, you got to learn a lot of, school is about teaching kids a lot of different skills that they're going to use in life.
Yeah.
Picking up rocks could be a skill.
Okay.
And also it's promoting upper body strength. Remember earlier I was talking about childhood obesity.
Yes.
Well, there's another way. Get them out marching, asking for solutions. Well, guess what? Here's your solution. Go up and pick up some rocks. The kids, they have the Presidential Fitness Challenge.
Yes.
Well, here's another challenge from your president. Stop a deadly school shooter by throwing a medium-sized river rock right at his temple. And bonus points if you can deflect a bullet with a rock. So here's a thing I was thinking about too, Lenny.
Okay.
School shooter comes in, right?
Yeah.
He's got an AR-15, right?
Yes.
And he's about to start firing. He's got a bump stock on it. It's about to go crazy. Kid in the back grabs a rock, throws it at him. As the rock's midair, the bullets hit the rock and ricochet back, killing the school shooter with his own bullets.
The physics of that are a little questionable to me.
What's going to stop a bad guy with a gun when we don't allow good students to have guns? A good student with a rock to ricochet the bullet back to kill the bad student with a gun with his own gun.
What if the bad guy with a gun also has another bad guy with a rock? Then I don't remember all the rules of rock, paper, scissors, but paper covers rock, rock beats gun shooter. But what happens when the gun shooter has another rock? Nobody has scissors, and paper covers rock. I don't know what to think anymore.
The schools are already filled with scissors and papers, and they have been ineffective at stopping school shooters. Now we have rock. Rock, as we all know with rock, paper, scissors, is the ultimate. Nothing stops rock.
Except for paper.
What stops rock?
Paper.
No, rock tears through paper.
Okay.
Rock tears through paper.
We're getting way off track here. I think I have the real common sense conservative solution to this problem.
It better not be ban all guns.
All right, here's what we do. We get every school class in America a VHS copy of Home Alone. Now, if you'll remember, Home Alone is the 1990 film starring Macaulay Culkin, where he stops intruders in his house by a series of very funny and elaborate household traps using toys and other things. And I think these kids could learn a thing or two from Mr. McCulkin. Hey, if a shooter's outside your door, maybe you take that blowtorch and you heat up the doorknob, That way the shooter gets a nice, how's your father when he grabs the doorknob? Oh, I don't want to shoot up this school now.
I guess so.
And how much does that cost? 50 cents.
No, we gotta buy him a blowtorch.
I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing, people.
But then the students have to get all that equipment and stuff like that. I'll tell you what, here's the thing, Lenny, you're living in a Hollywood fantasy world.
I'm making fun of you, actually. I don't actually believe that.
I didn't get that.
Okay, sorry.
And let me tell you why Home Alone is an unbelievable movie. He has a gun already. The movie should be 20 minutes. He has a gun. Wet bandits come in. He shoots and kills both of them. He calls the police, and he says, guess what? Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern are here, and they're both dead. Because they tried to break in my house. And who knows what those crazy madmen would have done to a child alone in a rich neighborhood like that.
Well, Ralph, I'm very surprised you didn't go for the obvious rejoinder, which is, well, who stopped the wet bandits? his neighbor, who is the crazy old paranoid guy who didn't have a gun, but he did have a pitchfork or something.
A shovel.
Or shovel.
He had that shovel.
Shovel.
But all of this is just, a bunch of hoops because he already had the gun. So here's another thing these schools could be doing. They could be taking a page out of your book, right, and having a bucket full of rocks they put over by the door.
Okay.
Have a long rope that goes to the teacher's desk. That way, student comes in to shoot up the place, teacher just pulls the rope, whole bucket full of rocks falls on the kid's head, and the kid goes, what's going on? What are all these rocks? And we're like, we got you, pal. You come here trying to hurt us. Now you're the one who hurts, right?
But if it's a student,
the armed guard comes in, goes, I got him. Don't worry, we're taking you away for a long time, pal.
Yeah. Well, if it's a student, wouldn't they have also learned about this little trick of the bucket over the door?
These kids are crazy. He's crazy. He already forgot about the bucket of rocks.
You think this crazy shooter could remember this trap in his own classroom? I don't think so. All right, well, look, I think it's a funny story.
Funny?
I'm hopeful.
This is funny.
I'm hopeful that other schools can come up with less depressing ways to curb school shootings.
We honor the principal of this school for finding a solution.
Honor
it didn't
him.
involve the government.
Yes. I wish that he had... he said there was some law that constricted him. I'm not sure what...
Most of them. Most of the laws
Damn liberals.
tied his arms behind his back, and this is his... this is the final solution.
Too much red tape, people. That's what I always say. Well, anyway, we actually have...
And I say final solution because, remember, the first solution of the final solution of the Nazis was to disarm the citizens.
Okay.
So when you disarm the citizens, that's how you gotta fight
back. I don't
back.
really think that's true, but I don't have the sources in front of me.
What did the Jews? What did the Jews have to do in the Jewish ghettos to fight the SS? Throw rocks at them.
If you'll
remember,
that's
where we are now as a country.
If you'll remember,
just throwing rocks.
First, they came for the communists and the socialists, but I was not a socialist.
And things got better.
That's how that goes. So that's what they came for first. It didn't say first they took the guns away. It said first they came for the socialists. So. That right there challenges your point of view, Ralph.
Well, that was a good idea. Yeah, they should get rid of the communists and the socialists.
Okay. Anyway, we have a...
Get rid of the communists, socialists, leave the guns. Okay. Great. See you later, Mr. Sanders.
Third Reich. It's happening. All right. Anyway, we have an announcement, actually. Our parent company, BAFFLEGAB Holding Corporation, has recently announced a new venture into the world of podcasting. Now, you might be wondering, well, I'm listening to your podcast, and if it's the parent company of your show, then why is that noteworthy? Well, our holding company has started a podcast network. Now, this is a whole slew of podcasts.
Now, we fought this. I argued. I said, we are the best podcast in the game. And
why do you need more than one?
We're finally on iTunes. Yeah. So, let's put all the money into this.
Yeah.
And they said, no, this venture is not profitable. You guys don't even have a Patreon page. No one's even giving $1. People aren't even listening. We're getting less than 10 views.
Yeah, it's true. So they've decided to put some serious muscle behind this effort, and they have announced a new podcast network, Bafflery, that will be coming out soon with episodes other than BAFFLEGAB. Not quite sure why they named it after our show, but... yeah, it's exciting stuff, Ralph, and we actually have some promos for some of these new shows that we will be injecting into this episode at different points.
Yes.
And let's start with one right now. We'll be right back.
This is politics. This is news. This is the Mooch. After spending 2 weeks as the White House Communication Director, Anthony Scaramucci is coming to your smartphone or podcast listening device with the most comprehensive analysis into the day's news.
I think Mr. Trump's doing a pretty fucking amazing job. I think maybe it was a good call to fire me. I didn't really fucking fit his brand, but who gives a fuck? Now I got my own podcast.
With the most relevant and in-depth interviews.
On the show today, we got my wife. Hey baby, what's going on with all these leaks? Huh?
Coming spring 2018, the Dick of DC, wherever podcasts are sold.
Hey, I'm just happy people are still talking about me. Welcome back. You're listening to BAFFLEGAB. I'm Ralph Wigglesworth. Now, our next story involves a dog and the Nazi salute. Did a dog give the Nazi salute? The answer may surprise you, because it's yes. But does the punishment fit the crime? Now with more, our man in the field, Joe Rogan.
A guy got fucking sentenced, or he got convicted and will be sentenced soon. I think he gets sentenced in April for getting his dog to make a Hitler salute. The guy is in Scotland, and he's a proud shit poster, but he's one of those guys that he posts stupid shit to get a reaction from people. And, he gets his dog to do it on this video. And he says, gas the Jews. Not only does it get him in trouble, which I get people being mad, like, hey, that's insensitive. Okay, whatever. That's what he's trying to be insensitive. They fucking arrested him.
So there you have it, folks. One man's Nazi saluting pug has landed him in hot water in the Highlands. I'm talking about Scotland. And just to elaborate a little bit, because our field man, Joe Rogan, did not do a great job. So the person in question, the trainer of the dog, his name is Mark Meechan. He is from Coatbridge in North Lanarkshire, Scotland. He goes by the moniker Count Dankula. Okay, and this dog that he trained to emulate Hitler was his girlfriend's, who goes by the name of Buddha. The dog is called Buddha.
Wait, this dog is a Buddhist?
Well, it's called...
He's a Nazi?
It's called Buddha. I don't know that the dog is capable of having Nazi ideology, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, if the dog isn't capable of having Nazi ideology, then what's
blameless.
the crime here?
The dog is blameless. I'll tell you what the crime is. The crime is this is hate speech, okay? And it's so grossly offensive to all the many Jews in the UK and Europe who had to endure Nazi barbarism to see some smirking punk from Scotland train his pug to emulate the Fuhrer. It's outrageous. And I applaud the Scottish government for finding this man guilty.
What the hell are you talking about, Lenny? This is clearly a joke. This is satire. This is no different than a Mel Brooks movie. Is some guy from Scotland? There's no difference.
No different.
He's just a Scottish guy who taught his pug how to salute, and it's like all these have to come to his defense. Alex Jones is coming to his defense. This Tommy Robbins is coming to his defense. Prison Planet.
All Nazis.
Gavin McGinnis. They're all coming to his defense and saying this guy's just doing satire.
Yeah.
Happens to be slightly saying what we actually believe, but he's just joking around with this dog.
Yeah.
And now he's got to go to jail because Scotland has no free speech.
Oh, it's all
If he did this in America, he would be fine.
He's not a Nazi. Folks, why would he appear on Alex Jones if he was a Nazi? It just doesn't compute. That's what
He's just a comedian who's trying to do a joke. It's called satire. Do you not know anything about satire, Lenny?
No, I don't know anything about satire, and I don't think it's funny either. Because let me tell you, if this guy isn't a Nazi, then he's being co-opted by Nazis. Because all the usual suspects, Lauren Southern, Alex Jones, Paul Robertson of Infowars.com, they're all going to bat for this guy. Okay, so if he's not a Nazi, then he's certainly associating with Nazis. And I think it's a little, like the satire defense, the comedy defense, it's a little tired. Oh, it's all just lulls and satire when a guy faces hard time for shouting, gas the Jews on YouTube. I remember in 2016, though, when this wasn't called satire.
It's not that he's just saying gas the Jews. The funny is he says gas the Jews, and then the dog raises his paw.
No,
that's the funny part. You're forgetting the joke. You're just.
This is another salvo in the meme war, trying to push the Overton window to the right. And now the United States has an openly racist Nazi sympathizer president in the White House. It's unbelievable. He deserves what he gets.
Look, Count Dankula's only crime is having a dog that is easily influenced.
His new moniker should be Inmate Dankula, because that's what he's going to be. In prison, in Scotland, and they don't fuck around there. That's where the Highlander's from.
For mistraining a dog?
Yes!
The pug. If anything, the pug should be the one tried. Why don't you hang the pug? It's true. I mean, it's like Stalin said this after... the Nazis lost World War II, if you remember that. You remember that from history, when the Nazis lost World War II?
Yeah.
And Stalin...
I think I recall vaguely, yeah.
And Stalin pushed the idea that maybe we should have to hang the top 100,000 German Shepherds because these ideas are... Once you train a dog, it's hard to untrain a dog.
Yeah,
right?
well,
and so the German Shepherds of the Nazis actually believe this thing. This pug is just joking around. This pug's kidding around.
I'm a little confused, Ralph, because you were just saying that the March for Our Lives kids were practicing hate speech. They were being hateful against the NRA, but now a Nazi saluting dog is A-okay?
Yeah, because what's the difference? Those kids were being serious. They weren't joking around going, oh, we're just kidding. Marco Rubio loves to kill kids.
What are you talking about? This guy, he's joking around, except he appeared on all these Nazi YouTube shows and radio shows to, defend himself. It just... To me, it's a little questionable, this guy's comedic bona fides. I don't really buy it.
Now, Lenny, Bill Morgan here.
Oh,
Lenny,
God.
you ain't ever owned a dog in your life. So the fact that you think that you could understand what goes in through a dog owner and a dog's mind, it is befuddling to me. See, now, here's the thing. I'm in awe of this story. How did you get your dog to do that? If I could get General Lee, now he's an old dog, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Yes.
But if I could teach General Lee to do the Nazi salute, I'd have him do it all day long because it'd be hilarious to me. Can you imagine a dog be like, he's got some good ideas, but he, should have stopped when he just took down the communists and the socialists. He shouldn't have banned guns. That's where Hitler went wrong, was from banning guns. And I would say, good boy. Now that's a good boy.
Well, dogs, like any other animal, Pavlov proved that they can have a reaction to certain external stimuli regardless of what that stimuli is. So I
don't know who Bob Love is or whatever you're talking about, but I brought General Lee. General Lee, come here, boy. Boy, all right. Come in here.
I'm not allowed to have dogs in here.
I don't care. I told that bald hippie or whatever was at your door. I said, I'm here for the podcast. General Lee.
Get him away from the fucking
I want to show you a little trick. Now,
okay.
Now, General Lee. Was the Civil War about slavery or was it about states' rights? Mm-hmm. He knows, good boy.
What was that? I didn't even...
Lenny, I'm going to open his bag of chips and give General Lee a treat. There you go,
right,
boy. There you go.
That's not... Okay.
What he said states' rights. That's a good boy. See, now I taught him a thing or two.
That's right. Is that what
good boy, General Lee. There you go.
States' rights.
I love you, General Lee. Bill, what the hell is going on? We're trying to have a serious debate about freedom of speech and about the use and misuse of satire. This is a man who's clearly joking around with his dog.
Yeah, clearly.
Lenny, I don't think you understand a relationship a dog owner and a dog have. Now, we have a close bond. We understand each other's what is thinking. I can get General Lee to do things for me with just a wink of my eye. Things that you would not believe and I would not subject you to viewing.
I can only imagine. Well, I'm glad, Bill, that you have some sympathy for this guy, I guess, but thankfully you don't run this country, you don't run this country, and you certainly don't
might someday.
run Scotland that has...
Now, Mr. Trump, if you're listening, I would love to be communication director. I would love to be that guy who just goes out there and says, hey, New York Times, shut the fuck up. That's what I want to do with a president.
Well, Bill, we might be able to introduce you to Anthony Scaramucci, who is a former communications director, who now has a podcast on our own Bafflery podcast network, our holding corporation. So
that's true, and I bet we're going to let him say whatever he wants to say, because we believe in free speech here.
Yeah. Well, look, we believe in speech that can make the holding company some profit.
Look. Now, I'm got to break his leg now trying to get him to do that. Now, General Lee!
Is he supposed to do something?
General Lee! He's supposed to sit down, General Lee.
Okay, yeah. And what now? Is he doing it? I don't see. He's not doing anything. He's just kind of...
Oh, come on.
Now he's sniffing his ass.
Oh, General Lee.
All right, look.
General Lee, get your head out of there.
So, okay, Bill's
He's
jealous.
just like you, Lenny. He's got his head up his ass.
Bill's jealous of the man's feats in training his dog to give the Nazi salute.
Count Dankula, if you are listening, we'd love to have you on the podcast so I can figure out how did you do it?
Yeah, how indeed. Well, he is going to be serving a hard time in a maximum pound-you-in-the-ass Scottish penitentiary.
Oh, the language. Lenny, can we watch the language on the show? My wife listens to this.
Yeah.
All right, can we clean up some of the language?
Well, I hope he's Braveheart because he's in for an ordeal.
Yeah, but if he was in America, he wouldn't be because we believe in a little thing called freedom of speech here.
Well, thank God he isn't in America, and he lives in a country that has some common sense speech codes.
Zig How! Come on, dear lady, Zig How! Now he just stiffing his ass at the end.
This is just sad. All right, well, look, I am very glad that this man will be facing punishment for his misdeeds because, you know what? It's all a joke until somebody gets hurt. You've heard that in elementary school. Oh, it's all fun until somebody gets hurt. Well, guess what? Feelings were hurt.
Wow, Lenny, if anything, we should execute the dog. You're listening to BAFFLEGAB. We'll be right back. Murdertown, Minnesota was a town like any other, except for one small thing. A murder had never happened there. One day, that all changed.
Oh yeah, then I saw a murder.
Did you happen to see who committed the murder?
No?
This was gonna be interesting.
She was alive at one time, and then now I walk in, she dead. I don't know what to think.
Coming this summer from Bafflery, the 12-part series, A Murder in Murdertown, a true crime investigation story.
Welcome back to BAFFLEGAB. I'm Lenny Thompson, and Donald Trump, if you're listening to our podcast right now,
then we thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, for taking time out of your busy day to fit in a little BAFFLEGAB.
No, you might want to hide in your locker because Uncle Joe is coming to get you.
When a guy who ended up becoming our national leader said, I can grab a woman anywhere and she likes it, and then said, I didn't make a mistake, but they asked me, would I like to debate this gentleman? And I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. But then I was told, that's just locker room talk. Well, I've been in a lot of locker rooms my whole life, a pretty damn good athlete. Any guy who talked that way was usually the fattest, ugliest SOB in the room. For real. You guys are athletes. You know what I'm talking about.
In an official statement, the President of the United States called a former Vice President weak, both mentally and physically, and said that if he had a fight with Joe Biden, Biden would go down hard. Now, to be fair, the former Vice President keeps saying he could beat up the President. This is clearly what Abraham Lincoln had in mind when he talked about our better angels.
Joe Biden needs to keep his fat mouth shut, which is going to be pretty easy because he's about to have two big old fat lips.
Okay.
Once the President of the United States knocks him out in one punch, I think.
Oh, give me a break.
He's got height, he's got reach, he's got, body size.
I don't even think he's taller than Joe Biden. What's Joe Biden, 6'2"? I think Trump's about the same.
6'3" is how tall the president is.
Oh, yeah, according to his official height listing. I'm not sure about that.
According to his official height listing. Yes, according to his official height listing.
Yeah, well...
fake news. You don't listen to anything.
This president, we know that we cannot trust him as far as we can throw him, and we cannot throw him very far because he is obese. Now, on to the matter.
He eats a lot of protein, yes, and he doesn't exercise, so he's got all that energy that he has saved up over 70 years from not exercising. That's all going to come out and be unleashed on Joe Biden.
He's like Goku.
On the bully
Biden.
Biden.
When Goku becomes Super Saiyan, he unleashes all that pent-up mystical energy. Donald Trump is about to unleash the dragon against the former vice president.
Yes, who has threatened him with violence. This is what the left does.
Look at football practice, Donald Trump. I'll totally kick your ass.
That's a very good impression of Joe Biden.
And, we decided to have a little straw poll here at BAFFLEGAB. Who would win? Because they asked Mike Pence recently which side he would take in the fight between Joe Biden and the president. And Mike Pence said, you know who I'm going to pick. You know whose corner I'm going to be in. A little smirk, a little wink, wink, nod, nod. Joe Biden.
So I'm putting No, I don't think that's at all what he meant. Come on now, Lenny. So I'm putting $10 right here on the table for the president himself.
No.
Donald Trump. Yes, why would I not?
Joe Biden, for one thing, he just sounds more tough than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a fancy boy. He's never worked a day in his life. He's lived in New York City his entire life. Because Joe Biden, he's from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Which is full of pussies.
Oh, excuse me?
Who else is from Scranton? Jim Halpert? I think he's king of the cooks.
You know who else?
I hate to use those words that I see on Reddit, but
you know who else
that is true.
Is from Scranton and also appeared in The Office?
Roy,
yeah, and that's Pam's first husband who kicked Jim's ass. So maybe you think about that. Not to mention,
I believe he was a transplant.
Not to mention Craig Robinson. Yeah. Who, as we all know, played that guy.
But Joe Biden is not even a football player. He just sits around his parents' basement playing with trains. All right, so let's not act like yeah. Let's talk about tough SOBs. Look, Joe Biden does not come to top of mind when I think of tough SOBs.
Well,
I think of tough SOBs, I think of the president. He's holding people's feet to the fire, and he's about to throw all of Joe Biden into the fire on this fight.
Well, they're both pretty old. They're both grandpas, that's for sure. But I think that Joe Biden has the grit and determination and the wherewithal to beat Trump. But you know what? We don't have to speculate. You know why?
No, I don't know why. I wish you would tell me. Stop the suspense already, Lenny.
All right, well, folks, I have a direct line to the heads of state at BAFFLEGAB Holding Corporation, our corporate overlords who we appreciate so much. And we
Bless you, every single day.
Thank you so much, job creators. And you may have heard earlier that they are expanding their podcast venture. Well, guess what? They're also expanding their pay-per-view combat venture. You've heard of the UFC and the WWE.
I have.
Well, get ready for two old men fighting in the parking lot of an Applebee's in Scranton, Pennsylvania, because it's coming to you, folks. Joe Biden versus Donald Trump in a pay-per-view only event from BAFFLEGAB Holding Corporation.
Donald Trump wouldn't be caught dead in the parking lot of an Applebee's.
Well, let's listen to the promo.
Let me put it very simply. I'm taller than you. I'm better looking than you. I think I'm stronger than you. And I'm here to challenge you to a match in WrestleMania.
What? Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
This Sunday in the parking lot of an Applebee's in Scranton, Pennsylvania, watch as Joe the Bull Biden faces off against the leader of the free world, Donald Trump. Stream it live from BAFFLEGABHoldingCorp.com.
This summer, an all-new podcast from the Bafflery Network. He's a know-it-all, but she's an idiot. It's Mansplaining the News with Mr. and Mrs. Informed.
Well, actually, honey, jet fuel is not capable of melting steel beams.
Oh. Listen as he sparks the fire of knowledge.
Now look, honey, that's a common misconception. Actually, it was the poor, the greedy poor, who caused the Great Depression.
Oh. Join the journey of discovery as one man explains the world to his wife without ever seeking her input.
Darling, you know that can't be racist. Racism ended when Barack Obama was elected in 2008. It's just a fact.
Oh. Mansplaining the News, coming this spring from the Bafflery Network.
Actually, it's coming this summer.
Oh.
Jerry Falwell Jr. is forcing the students at Liberty University to accept the production of a feature film based on the false prophecies of Mark Taylor, the so-called fireman prophet.
Welcome back. And hey, today we got Mark Taylor with us. He's a former firefighter and a co-author of a book entitled The Trump Prophecies. The astonishing true story of the man who saw tomorrow and what he says is coming next. And Mark, good to see you. How are you?
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
You bet. What led you to write this?
You know, I'm a third-generation firefighter. I retired out in 2006. And about a month after I retired, I had a visitation from the Lord. And in that visitation, the Lord showed me that there was going to be things that I was going to write that would affect my walk and the walks of others. I wrote a prophecy called the Trump Prophecy. Said that Donald Trump was going to be president of the United States.
Proof that Donald Trump was always meant to become president of the United States.
He truly, this man, Mark Taylor, truly blessed. He received a vision from the Lord in 2011, informing him that the then host of Celebrity Apprentice, Donald Trump, would in fact become the 45th president of the United States. Wow.
Yeah, and outside of the animated cartoon show The Simpsons, who else could have seen this coming?
Yeah, it's not like Donald Trump didn't publicly speak about running for president in 2000 and 2008. Why would he do that?
Well, not very seriously. I mean, he did. In 2012 is when he copyrighted "Make America Great Again." So,
Yeah,
that's when he really started probably taking it seriously. It was after that.
Yeah.
But so this firefighter would have no insider knowledge of that, yet he was visited by the Lord and shown the way. And now there's going to be an amazing movie called Commander that's going to tell the tale of this firefighter who's awakened in a cold sweat in the Obama era and told, Don't worry, everything's going to be all right because Trump is coming soon, and he will be the next president of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's coming from Liberty University, the kooky Christian university founded by Jerry Falwell. God bless his soul. Not really.
No, yes, really. Rest in heaven.
It's actually coming from the Liberty University Cinematic Arts Department. So this isn't even like a private company affiliated with the university. It's the university itself, which is private, but still, it's a bit jarring, particularly perhaps for maybe the students who don't want their tuition money to go towards some movie glorifying a prophetic firefighter. And really, it's a bit much, don't you think? Because this guy has also made other predictions. Like he said that Hurricanes Harvey and Irma, which of course, as we remember, devastated parts of Texas and Florida, they were created and controlled by the Illuminati to punish the areas of the country that voted for Trump, and to serve as a training run, quote unquote, for a massive witchcraft attack against the president. This guy is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. This guy's crazy.
All right, stop pushing cereal on here, all right? Look, your sponsorship deals.
If I was a student at Liberty University, I'd be perturbed. Are you kidding?
Look, the same way that there is a spiritual war that goes on every day between the Lord Jesus Christ and Satan, there is also an actual war that goes on between the president, who is the savior of the country, and the Illuminati, who's pulling strings, behind the screen. And this is what this firefighter saw. He was woke in a sweat. He was suffering from PTSD, right? And he woke in a sweat. And this was the vision that he saw: is that the Illuminati is going to be trying to take down the president, but the president is going to remain strong at 6'3", 239 pounds, and ready to beat up Joe Biden and then move on to the Illuminati and then take down George Soros.
I thought you were a respectable conservative and you believe in this guy and you think that perhaps he's not crazy. Look, if you didn't...
I trust what I have no reason not to believe a firefighter.
If you want more evidence, Mark Taylor also warned that the Freemasons and the Illuminati are using a special frequency to change people's DNA in order to make them hate Trump. So they would be unable to see God's plan for Trump saving America. It's like, where does it end?
Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not true. But I think it really makes you think, because you see
it really makes you think.
You see the violence that people have against Trump, and you go, "Where is this coming from?"
Oh, it's coming from like centuries old boys' clubs, fraternities in England, the Illuminati and the Freemasons. It's amazing that the Illuminati still has the cultural capital to command these kooky theories so long after their demise. Because I don't know if you know this, Ralph, the Illuminati was only around for a few decades, and it was, a boys' club for hoity-toity bourgeoisie in England.
Look,
this 17th century. It's unbelievable.
I'm not here to get a history lesson about the Illuminati.
Well, you should be, because I'm Dan Carlin, and I'm about to give you some hardcore history, buddy.
All right, you save that to other podcasts, and don't bring that on to here, okay?
Okay.
But I ask you, every week we do this back and forth over, I try to tell you what Trump is doing that's good. You say, no, he's evil, he's a racist, all this kind of stuff. And I go, where is this rage coming from? Could it be that your DNA was changed by the Illuminati, and that's where all this is coming from? I think it is quite possible.
It's quite possible, folks.
This guy, he's just asking questions. He's throwing out visions that he saw from the Lord, right? And so I think there's a lot. You're missing also the core of this, and that's that God is using Trump, right? And so sometimes Trump may do things that we don't like this, like signing of this ominous spending bill.
Omnibus.
What?
Omnibus.
Yeah.
And ominous, perhaps, to some people.
The omnibus spending bill. He didn't cut funding for Planned Parenthood. There's a lot of reasons to not be a fan of this bill, but we have to trust that the president has a greater vision. We have to trust that he knows what's right.
Do we?
He has a plan for each and every one of us in America, and we have to trust that he's going to lead us to greatness. And we're holding Trump's hand.
Yeah.
Right? We're holding Trump's little hand, and who's he holding hands with?
I have no idea.
With God. God is holding Trump's hand.
The idea that Trump is God's co-pilot, this philandering, cursing, mean, belittling prick of a man is God's representative on earth is, to me, insulting to both Trump and God.
Lenny, can we watch the language here?
Well, I don't know who wants to live in a world where Trump is the embodiment of the value of the creator. Because I don't think I want to live in that world, and I don't think you do either.
Well, you do live in that world.
Okay, sure.
And speaking of that world, Lenny, you just gave me an excellent idea for a t-shirt. I'm going to pitch this to BAFFLEGAB Holdings, and it's going to say, Trump, God's the pilot, Trump is God's co-pilot, and I'm just riding in the back seat. Because I voted for him in office to just trust him and let him, he's an outsider.
Yeah.
He's not a conventional leader by any means. And because of that, we have to trust where he's going to be leading this country.
This is all on the shirt or just the co-pilot? Where does it end?
Just the co-pilot part. It ends.
You need to shop this idea a little bit more.
Look, I'm just a conservative commentator, Lenny. I'm not a t-shirt maker.
Well, if you have a bad dream where, Trump becomes the Antichrist or something, maybe you could get some funding and you could also get the shirt idea.
I don't know.
Greenlit. It doesn't take much to get the deep pockets of Liberty University to make a movie out of any old tale. So I'm sure you can figure it out, Ralph.
Lenny, you don't even believe in God.
The reptilians!
Atheist. You're not even allowed.
I got a vision from the reptilians that Barack Obama is going to prison for treason, people.
Wait,
and
what?
I think we need to make a movie about it. It's just a joke. Look,
I would watch that movie. If that's a movie, I will watch that movie. I think it's important to ask these questions, right?
Yeah.
What good is free speech if we're not using it to ask the tough questions?
Yeah, well, the point is this guy is a nutcase, and...
Now, hold on, I got a movie for you.
Oh, okay.
Now, I've had my own...
Bill Morgan, he's here. He's back, baby.
Welcome back, Bill.
For some reason, but okay. What's up?
Now, I have my own visions that I want to sell. Now, Liberty University, if you're out there listening, I have a vision for you now. I had a few visions that you can make a hell of a movie out of, right? Called the Bill Morgan Visions.
Prophecies?
The Bill Morgan Visions. Yeah. Prophecies. Prophets is what we will see once you make the prophecy movies.
That's Profit, people.
Now, I ain't here to give no one a spelling lecture. I'm just here to tell you that I also saw before, November 2016 that Donald Trump would be president, and I knew that he would become president. And I remember years ago I ate at a Godfather's Pizza, and after a bit of food poisoning, I was like sweating and having a fever, and I woke up and there was the Lord standing above me, beautiful blonde hair, blue eyes, everything.
So the Lord is white.
Yeah.
Noted.
Of course he is. And then he looked at me and he said, Herman Cain will be president. Now, the Lord did not give a specific date, so it's possible that this may not come to bear until 2024, till after the Trump train, we go on to Herman Cain.
Wow, the Cain train, wow. That's, it would be interesting. I did like that one campaign ad where his manager was smoking a cigarette in front of the camera and looking all hard. That's the kind of guy we need. The kind of guy who can run Godfather's Pizza into the ground. We need him in the White House, people.
All right.
Another businessman. Now, Bill, I have to say, because I know you just more than I would like to know. I know you pretty well, and you're a racist. So...
Proud and proud.
Yeah, I know.
Now, it's something my wife, who, as you know, is a beautiful, independent black woman.
Yeah, I know.
We get these debates all the time, but I bet you shouldn't call yourself a racist. And I have to say, I'm third generation. I'm third generation racist. And that's only because 4 generations back, that guy was kooky.
Okay, well, Herman Cain's a black man, so that's fine, obviously.
So that would make you... But there are other things that we agree on. His business skills. I don't really even see race. What I see is, can you make $1? And Herman Cain, he can make $1.
He can make $1. It has a strong mustache, too.
That's right.
I don't see facial hair myself, but...
Now, I had another vision, and this one is maybe coming true sooner than you think. And so if this one becomes true within the next couple of weeks or months, then I should definitely get a movie deal with Liberty. Now, in this vision, it was Trump, and now he was alone in Trump Tower. And there he was by the fire, and he was reading a book or something, whatever he does to pass the time. Probably reads a book.
Or watching TV.
Ain't no shame watching TV. And then the phone rings. And he picks up the phone. Now, it's Barack Obama on the line. Now, he's about to hang up because he says, I cannot be talking to, I'm the President of the United States. I should not be talking
to the last guy who was the president. Why would you ever do that? Okay, that'd be a little rude, but...
Hey, so anyway,
it's your fantasy, Bill.
Before he hangs up, he says, I just want to let you know that you are the greatest president this country has ever seen, and I made a lot of mistakes as president, and it is so good to see that you have fixed them, and I love you. And Mr. Trump says, well, that's very nice of you, Brock, but you need to pick yourself up off the ground and be a man, because he could tell that he's weeping on the floor, even over the phone.
Is this a wet dream? Did you come in your pants as you were dreaming this, Bill?
Now, my trailer gets so hot, I'm always waking up in a sweat. Every dream I have is a wet dream.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know Mr. Trump purposely, but, I will see that this prophecy will come to pass. I think that this may
How would you even know? Who would even reveal such information?
He will tweet about it. You do not think President Trump will say, by the way, Obama says I'm doing a great job. So all these, liberal media, MSNBC, all this stuff may say I'm doing a bad job. Mr. Barack Obama done called me himself and said that I'm doing an excellent job.
I do agree with you that he would not be a big enough man to not gloat over it. That's for sure. But still, it's pretty unlikely.
Now, I also had another dream.
Okay, well, what's the other one? Is this a vision or a dream?
Now, you got so worked up on this show, episode 22, in the future, that you have a heart attack and you die. And then I get to take over as host, and it's me and Ralph, and we get the greatest ratings, and we have become the #1 podcast in all of America.
But that wouldn't even be that interesting. It would be a fascist against Paul Ryan, basically.
No, who's the one that I ain't a fascist?
All right, fine.
I'm going to take that from you, Lane.
A Southern man who believes what Southern men believe.
That's right. And follow me now. I'm on Twitter. Follow me now on Twitter.
That's right.
I'm gonna be posting a video soon of a girl filleting a gun, and it is a beautiful thing, and everyone needs to watch this video. Well, I'm sorry, what?
Well,
filleting a gun. Bill, you're going to get banned from Twitter.
Well, I know what Bill's talking about, and that's because YouTube banned some gun videos, some gun review videos. Isn't that right, Bill?
That is right. They're kicking them all off YouTube, so we've had to go and find different ways. And Pornhub.com is where we've been posting our gun videos, because it's the only safe space for free speech anymore.
Yeah, gun nuts have been posting their gun videos on Pornhub in protest of YouTube.
And now soon you will see a video, I'm trying to work on it now, but of General Lee giving the Zig Heil. I'm going to have him giving the old Nazi salute as soon as I can get his legs to bend that way. I mean, he's an old dog. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks like that.
You're not going to penetrate him with a gun?
I would never penetrate my dog with a gun.
I don't know if you know this, Bill, but they do have dog-related porno on the interwebs.
Lenny, what the hell are you think you're doing? My wife listens to this podcast.
It's just a factoid. Just throwing it in there.
This is getting out of hand.
It's a fart in a hurricane, people. It doesn't mean anything.
What? I haven't even heard that phrase before.
Well, you did now.
Well, thank you, Bill, for sharing your visions. Of course, and I hope that when I pass out on the lawn tonight from having too many cores, that maybe I'll have another vision. Where I become the future communication director for the president.
Well,
I think we've pretty much tied everything back together.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening. That about does it here. Now remember, you can follow us on twitter.com under @BaffleGabPod. You can follow Lenny Thompson at Lenny Thompson BG.
That's right.
You can follow Bill Morgan at _Bill Morgan. And I don't have a Twitter because it's stupid.
That's right. You've been listening to BaffleGab. We'll catch you next time.
Out of time. Bye-bye.